All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Couch Warrior podcast. As always, I'm your host, Mike, and today we're going to be breaking down UFC Noche or UFC 306, whatever you want to call it. So, not going live this week. This is a pre-recorded video. I'm feeling a bit under the weather, and I'm doing the video early because I'm supposed to leave the country tomorrow, and I'll be away for a bit over a week. So, no content for me later this week. I'll be doing my shorts today, doing this recording today. It's all going to come out today on Monday, and that'll be it for me in terms of content. I already have a Dana White's Contender Series breakdown video up with my guy, the Dogfather. We did that yesterday. That's already up on my channel. You can check that out. And yeah, we can jump right into it. I got my first max bet in a while on this card, and I'm hyped to talk about it. Going to try to keep this one relatively short. And yeah, let's jump right in. So first fight up, we got Raul Rosas Jr. versus Aoriqileng. Rosas Jr., he's 9-1-0, 19 years old. He's 5'9" with a 67-inch reach. Aoriqileng, he's 25-11-0, 31. He's going to be, oh boy, 12 years older, going to be 2 inches shorter, and he's going to have a 2-inch reach advantage. I'm not going to waste much time here. I think Rosas should roll. I think he's going to finish Aoriqileng. I think it's going to probably happen in the first or second round. I don't really see a way to bet it, honestly. Maybe the under 1.5, but if you know me, I really don't like under 1.5s. Aoriqileng, like he's a decent striker. Maybe he's the better boxer here. Rosas Jr., his striking's coming along, but it's not quite there yet. So maybe Aoriqileng's a better striker, but I don't think it's going to be on the feet. Rosas is a good wrestler, really good jiu-jitsu. That was a pretty impressive finish over Ricky Tercios, and Aoriqileng can be taken down. I do think Rosas is going to take him down. I think he's going to take his back, and I think he's going to sub him at some point, and we can move on. Next up, we've got Edgar Chairez versus Joshua Van. Now, Van's coming in on short notice. Chairez 11-5-0, 28. He's 5'7" with a 72-inch reach. Van 10-2-0. He's 22, so he's 6 years younger. Going to be 2 inches shorter, and he's at a 7-inch reach disadvantage. So Chairez does have a significant reach advantage here. He doesn't really use it that well. Like, he's got a decent jab and a decent 1-2 down the pipe, but he's not really keeping people at range. Not really one of those guys who does it that well. And his striking is fine. You know, he's got some good kicks, but overall, I like Van's game better. I think his boxing is better. His output is better. I really like his body work. I think he hits hard. And if he can get you with your back against the fence, he's really dangerous, and he'll really let it rip. My concern with Van, you know, he's a slow starter. And the other one is that he literally just got chinned like 2 months ago. And now he's coming in against Chairez, and Chairez isn't hit really that hard. But I wouldn't be too shocked if he caught him. So that's a bit of a concern. And I guess Chairez has some jiu-jitsu upside because his jiu-jitsu is pretty slick. And Van is still a big green on the ground. And he comes out of primarily a striking camp. But Chairez doesn't really offensively grapple. Like, he usually gets the subs because someone else is taking him down. And Van's not going to take him down. So I don't really see a sub happening here. I think Chairez's wrestling isn't that good when he does shoot. I think Van should be able to stuff those. And I think Van will win this fight. I think it'll look similar to his other ones. I don't think he'll finish Chairez, really. But I do think he'll win by decision. Maybe a third-round finish, just attritional, because he does cause a lot of damage because he lands so much. But Chairez seems tough. So I think Van wins a pretty comfortable decision, and Van's the pick here. And I might make a play on him. I'm just waiting on the line because laying minus 200 on him is a little scary with the knockout literally happening 2 months ago. But we'll see. I might do it. Next up, we got Yazmin Jauregui versus Ketlen Souza. Jauregui 11-1-0. She's 25 years old, 5'3" with a 64-inch reach. Souza on the other side, 14-4-0. She's 29. She's 4 years older. Same height, and she's going to be at a 1-inch reach disadvantage. Another spot where I feel like the favorite should roll. Jauregui's a much better striker than Ketlen Souza. Souza's decent. Her output is okay. The kicks are okay. The hands are meh. Like, it's a lot of overhand rights, and Jauregui could be caught. You know, Denise Gomez did, and we've seen Jauregui hurt before. Estella Nunes hurt her. So I wouldn't be shocked if Souza hurt her, maybe knocked her out. I don't think it's a super high, like not a very likely outcome. And Souza she's got decent wrestling, but Jauregui's takedown defense seems pretty legit, and I don't really see Souza taking her down. And on the feet, I think Jauregui's output's better. I think she hits hard. I think she targets the body well, and I just think she's much cleaner of a striker. So I think she should win this one. Maybe a knockout, probably a decision. Souza seems relatively tough as well. She's been finished before, so I wouldn't be shocked because Jauregui's really clean and she sets up those angles really nice and she does hit hard. But I think more likely than not, it probably goes to a decision and Jauregui takes it comfortably. Moving on. For this one, we've got Manuel Torres versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Torres 15-2-0. He's 29, 5'10" with a 73-inch reach. Bahamondes, he's going to be 15-5-0, 27. He's 2 years younger. He's going to be 5 inches taller and have a 2-inch reach advantage. So I like Bahamondes here. Torres is scary in the first round. He hits really hard. He's got a lot of good tools. He's a good striker, good knees, good elbows, great kicks. He's opportunistic on the ground. He can get subs. He subbed Duncan pretty nicely with the back take and then the rear naked. But his defense isn't good. He seems pretty hittable. Duncan hurt him seconds into that fight. I've seen him hurt before. And he hasn't gone out of the first round. He's gone out of the first round one time in 17 fights. And when he did, there's only small clips on Facebook of that fight where he did go to a decision. And it was a while ago. It was at featherweight. And he's probably gotten better since then. The cardio has probably improved. And just because he's never left the first round doesn't mean he can't. But just from the way he fights, the way he's so explosive, so aggressive early, I think that he will slow down. And I do think that his cardio won't be that great after the first round, in the second and the third. And, even if the cardio was great, even if I knew he could go 15, I still kind of favor Bahamondes. I think Bahamondes is just a little bit of a cleaner striker. I think his output is also very good. I think defensively he's better. I like how he targets the body. I like how he mixes it up. He's got great kicks also. So I don't really think Torres is a better striker than him. I actually think Bahamondes is a better striker. And I think Bahamondes is a striker with more output. Torres maybe hits harder and is a better finisher. But I think that Bahamondes is the more technical guy. And while Torres maybe has the better jiu-jitsu, I don't really think he's going to come out here and out-wrestle Bahamondes. And if he tries, I think he might gas for sure, because I definitely don't think it's in his cardio to wrestle for 15 minutes. It's just not something he does. So I can't expect him to do that and be able to keep it up with the gas tank. So yeah, for me, it's Bahamondes here. I'm going to make my play. It's plus 105 right now. I'm going to sit and think about whether I should just play it now or if I should wait out the line. I'm not the best at reading line movement. I never claimed to be reverse CLV king. So yeah, we'll see what I do with it, but I'll end up with a play on Bahamondes more than likely. And I think the over 1.5 makes sense too. If maybe you don't want to pick a side, I really don't think Torres gets him out of there in the first. So that's a decent way to do it too. You could I think it's pick 'em. You could play on minus 115 to win 1 unit. And whoever wins the decision, if it goes that far, or if the fight ends after the 7.5 minute mark, you'll still cash your ticket. And if you lean towards the Bahamondes side, kind of correlates. So it makes sense if you want to play that instead. And I don't blame anybody. But we can move on. Next up, we've got Irene Aldana versus Norma Dumont. Aldana 15-7-0. She's 36 years old. 5'9" with a 68-inch reach. Dumont 11-2-0. She's 33. 5'7". She's 2 inches shorter, and she's going to have a 1-inch reach disadvantage. So pre-tape, my gut was like Dumont, and part of me thinks maybe I should have played the plus 135 when it was available, but I hadn't taped yet. And now that I did, I lean towards Aldana, especially if I end up getting her at a decent dog price. Like if I can get like plus 125, I'd be pretty happy with an Aldana play. Because the way I see it, does Dumont definitely have a wrestling path here? Yes. Aldana's takedown defense is decent, but it's not the best. And Dumont is a good wrestler with solid control. But that said, Dumont doesn't really do anything with the top control. In the Duranemy fight, she wasn't doing anything, and I wouldn't have been shocked if the refs stand them up, because you got to do something. And she's not really looking for ground and pound. She's not really looking to set up subs. And I feel like even if she gets the takedowns, Aldana is going to be more active, because Aldana, the second she hits the ground, she's trying to throw up arm bars, triangles, leg locks. Like she's trying to do something. She doesn't just lay there. So I feel like Aldana can win minutes off her back. And if she can keep it on the feet, I like her striking a lot more. Dumont's not a bad striker by any means. Good jab, good 1-2, mostly straight down the pipe. Hits relatively hard, I would say. I think she low key has power, but her output's pretty poor. And I just think that overall, Aldana is definitely a better striker. Her boxing's really nice. Her combos are really nice. She keeps it straight, long down the pipe. Good jab that sets up the combos. Goes to the body really well, which I love. And her output is really good. And I kind of give Aldana all the finishing upside here. Like if anybody catches a sub or a knockout, I feel like it's probably Aldana. So yeah, so for me, Aldana's the pick. Finishing upside, better striker, much better output, and Dumont just doesn't do much with that top position. But it's a greasy fight, and depending on the judges, yeah, it's entirely possible that Dumont can just get a few takedowns each round and win off of blanket control. You know, it does still happen, even though damage is supposed to be over control. The judges are shaky, so yeah, the pick's Aldana, but I can get behind either side at plus money. Honestly, I think they both have their paths. I just rather it be Aldana that I'm playing at plus money. All right. Next up, we've got Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Ode Osbourne. Rodriguez is 16-2-0. He's 25 years old, 5'6" with a 65-inch reach. Osbourne on the other side, 12-7-0. He's 32, so he's 7 years older, 1 inch taller, and he's going to have a 8-inch reach advantage. So honestly, skill for skill, I kind of think Osbourne's better. I don't really know where I rate Ronaldo yet. He's young, he's improving. He's a solid striker in the pocket, but his reach kind of limits him. Like he can't really strike at range because of his reach, so he's got to be in the pocket. And he's good, but that opens him up for counters as well. Defense isn't that great. He's a solid offensive wrestler. It's nothing special. Jiu-jitsu's decent. I don't know how much to rate that sub over Bonder though. Bonder's a bit of a flake, unfortunately. And Rodriguez's own takedown defense isn't the best. He could probably be taken down too. So for me, Osbourne does make sense because, like I said, I think he's a better striker. With the reach, I definitely think he's going to have a lot more success at range. He's the guy you see actually throwing straight strikes down the pipe, good jabs, good 1-2s, solid combos, good kicks, and his grappling's also pretty good. You know, he offensively at least he can get his own takedowns. Defensively, he can definitely be taken down too. And the jiu-jitsu is not the best, especially defensively. But the guys who are subbing him quick, you know, they're really good grapplers. And what's his face? Jafel Filio, and then the one before that I think was Asu. Yeah, Asu. Ronaldo, I don't think I rate him as good as those two guys in the grappling department, but at the same time, Rodriguez, he'll fight for your money, you know, and I like to back guys like that who I know are going to come out there and fight for my money. They might not be the most technical, but they'll bring it. And Osbourne seems to be a little bit flaky recently, which is a bit of a concern. I could see Rodriguez just kind of breaking him over as the fight goes on. So yeah, I mean, I'll pick Rodriguez. I don't think I'm going to bet it because again, skill for skill, I kind of lean Osbourne. I just don't know if I trust him enough to make a play on him. So I'm going to pass right now, and Rodriguez will be the pick, but I'm not super confident in that. All right, next up, I believe this is the first fight. No, this is the second fight of the main card. We got Daniel Zellhuber versus Esteban Ribovics. Zellhuber is 15-1-0. He's 25 years old, 6'1" with a 77-inch reach. Ribovics 13-1-0. He's 28, so he's going to be 3 years older, 3 inches shorter, and he's at a 8-inch reach disadvantage. So I kind of see this fight similar to Zellhuber Prado. I think Prado's Argentinian too, but in that Ribovics is smaller and he's going to struggle closing the distance against Zellhuber, who's really, really good at range and really good at keeping that range. And I think Ribovics is going to struggle a little bit, you know, closing the distance. But I think, you know, Prado did it. Prado wasn't able to do it successfully to the point where he was winning, but Prado was able to land a decent amount. You know, I think 80 significant strikes he landed by closing that distance, getting into the pocket. And Ribovics can do that. And Ribovics is bigger than Prado. I think Ribovics is a better striker than Prado. And I think Ribovics hits harder than Prado. So I could definitely see Ribovics closing the distance, landing strikes on him. Giagos is able to do it against Zellhuber too. I don't think, you know, the Ogden loss for Zellhuber is weird, but I think that was more of a choke on Zellhuber. And also Ogden kind of plays it safe, maintains the range. Ribovics is going to be crashing the pocket, coming up close, because that's where he does his best work. He's got a nice kick that he throws up really quickly to the head. The combos are nice, mixes the kicks well into them. He'll go to the body. So I kind of feel like the line's a bit wide, because if he can back up Zellhuber and cut the cage, I think he's going to have some really good moments. But that said, Zellhuber to me seems like the better striker and the better fighter all around. His build for the weight class is very, very good. He's very big. The kicks are really nice, and he uses them to maintain that range. He'll do front kicks to the body. He'll throw them upstairs. He'll throw the leg kicks. His output is great. The hands are really nice, clean down the pipe, and he seems to hit pretty damn hard too. And out of the two of them, neither of them is much of a grappler, but Ribovics has a pretty poor takedown defense. His get-ups are decent, but I wouldn't be super shocked if Zellhuber threw in a takedown here and there, especially if Ribovics is actually able to close the distance and land some big shots. So I'm picking Zellhuber. I think I'm going to pass. Like, I don't want to lay 2.5 units to win one on him when I think Ribovics has a viable path. And I don't really want to parlay him when I think Ribovics has a viable path. But at the same time, I don't know if I want to play Ribovics, because I just feel like Zellhuber should win this. While Ribovics is really good, I just feel like this is a tough fight for him. If he was something really ridiculous, like plus 300, then I'd get involved. But right now, the line feels about accurate, because I just feel like Ribovics is going to have a very difficult time closing that distance. But we can move on. Next up, we've got this fight rebooked. Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopes. Ortega 16-3-0, 33 years old, 5'8" with a 69-inch reach. On the other side, Lopes 25-6-0. He's 29, going to be 3 inches taller, and he's going to have about a 3-inch reach advantage. So it's funny, because the win over Ige is a good win for Lopes, but it kind of made me less confident in him for this fight, because similar to what we thought, he gassed. He gassed pretty hard. He tired out in the third round. He slowed down big time, and Ige was able to have his moments. And Ige was the one who came in on like 4 hours notice there. Lopes was training the entire time for Ortega. And I get that it's an opponent switch up, but that shouldn't affect your cardio that much. And he tired out. And there is a blueprint to beat Lopes. Brito did it. Evloev did it. If you can take him down and your jiu-jitsu is good enough where you're not going to get subbed and you can control him, you could win that fight. Now, the thing is, holding him down is pretty hard, and I think it's gotten progressively harder. He's very active off his back, and I mentioned this earlier with Aldana, with the judging, it can go either way. Either they might grade the blanket control, or they might be like, yeah, Ortega's holding him down, but Lopes is the one who landed like 20 elbows and tried to get an armbar or a triangle, so I'll give him the round. And that's possible too here. And on the feet, I think Ortega's a cleaner striker. He's gotten a lot better there. His strikes are straight down the pipe. He's got good output. He'll go to the body, but he's pretty hittable. And Lopes, while he's not the most technical striker, he is a good striker, and he's relentless. He's in your face. He's got a ton of power. He's very dangerous in the pocket. He's got nice knees, a lot of tools on the feet. And all around, he's just a very dangerous guy. So I feel like Lopes should win the fight, and he's the more likely guy to finish. But I wouldn't be shocked at all if Ortega was able to control him and win the fight that way, or maybe even get a late sub himself when Lopes is a bit more tired if Ortega survives. Because Ortega, he can get hurt in fights, but his recovery is pretty good. You never see him actually like knocked out cold. So I don't really think Lopes is going to just cook him early. I think it's going to take some time. And then if he tires out, Ortega could take over. So Lopes is a pick. I don't think I'm going to bet either guy, though. I just, I taped this fight a ton when it was booked the first time. Taped it a bunch now, and I still can't get a great read on it. So I'm probably just going to pass on this one. All right, next up, we've got Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko. Grasso, 16-3-1, 31 years old, 5'5" with a 66-inch reach. Shevchenko on the other side, 23-4-1. She's 36. She's 5 years older. Going to be the same height, and she's going to be it's about the same reach. So, look, I was watching back their fights, and I was watching back the last one, and I still think Shevchenko won. I feel like Shevchenko got the first, the third, and I think the fourth. So I felt like she pretty clearly won, but ended up being a draw, which is strange, but it happens. It's our judges. But look, I I just feel I know fights don't normally play out the same, but at the end of the day, 2 fights in, and Grasso still isn't really able to stuff the takedowns of Shevchenko. Shevchenko's still able to get her off that body lock. Overall, just the wrestling's been working still. She's getting the takedowns, 4 in each fight, I think. And once she gets Grasso down, she's able to control her. Grasso will try to throw up subs, and she'll have some close attempts, and she was able to get Shevchenko that the first time, but I think Shevchenko is going to be able to take her down and control her. I think she's going to play this fight real smart. And on the feet, like it's not like it's a wash for Grasso. Grasso is a good striker. She seems to be the one out of the two of them who can hurt Shevchenko, even though Shevchenko hits pretty hard. And I feel like counting her out to get her own knockout is kind of crazy. Like her knockout prop is plus 1,000. When was the last time we can get that price on Shevchenko by knockout? And I know it's unlikely with Grasso, but Shevchenko hits pretty hard too. But yeah, I mean, from their 2 fights, it does seem like Grasso has a slight edge on the feet and might be the one more likely to, hurt Shevchenko standing. And she does have better output. But I think Shevchenko is very competitive with her standing. And I think the wrestling is the game is a difference maker. So for me, it's Shevchenko. I'm gonna play her. She's plus 110 now. I might make my move now. I might make it tomorrow. I have to get all my bets in within these next 2 days because once I'm away, I'm not going to be able to. I'll be out of the country. So I got to make them now. And yeah, I'm gonna play Shevchenko. I think it should be another close fight, and I won't be shocked if Grasso pulls it off. But I just think that Shevchenko clearly still has the tools to beat Grasso. So yeah, Shevchenko for me, and we can move on to the main event. My first max bet in a while. And yeah, so we've got Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili. O'Malley 18-1-0. He's 29, 5'11" with a 72-inch reach. Merab 17-4-0. He's 33. He's 4 years older, going to be 5 inches shorter, and he's at a 4-inch reach disadvantage. So look, I understand why a lot of people like O'Malley. Merab has been hurt multiple times, and O'Malley's an extremely good striker, very fast, very powerful, mixes the targets really well, super dynamic, really good at creating angles. O'Malley, in my opinion, is one of the best strikers in the UFC, probably the best striker in the bantamweight division, and it's not quite close. But the thing with Merab is it's just different. Like, obviously, Merab's not as good of a straight striker as O'Malley. He's just not. But he's not a better striker than Peter Yan either. And I'm pretty confident in that assessment too. And he outstruck Peter Yan. How? Because he shot 49 times in that fight. And yeah, I get it. I'll say this often myself, if you see a fighter getting 10, 12, 15 takedowns, it's because their control's not very good. But Merab kind of uses it as a feint. A lot of those takedowns he went for Yan, he didn't really even seem to intend to finish them. He was just making Yan second guess everything. Because every time Merab would seem like he's going downstairs for a takedown, he'd come upstairs with the hands. And because he was just so relentless with those takedown attempts, just filling the space with them, that he was able to outstrike Peter Yan. And will O'Malley be a little bit harder to do that on? Yes, because O'Malley's so long and is such a good counter striker. But I think that Merab is just going to be relentless. I think he's going to back him up, make it hard for him to work at space, be in his face, mix in the takedowns both as an actual takedown threat and as a feint to set up the hands. I think he's going to get a ton of takedowns, and I think Merab is going to dominantly win the fight personally. I think it's going to look a lot like Bilal versus Leon Edwards. Everybody was screaming bloody murder that Leon was going to knock out Bilal, that Bilal was the worst, can't do anything but wrestle. And look what happened. He even outstruck Leon because Leon was worrying about the takedowns. And I think we're going to see that here. I think Merab maybe will get outstruck a little bit early, but I think he's just going to be in O'Malley's face, shooting. And every now and then he'll mix in the hands when O'Malley thinks he's going for a takedown. And I think Merab's got this. So I have 6 units down on Merab. That's my max bet. I don't go over that anymore. And I played minus 130 for 2.6 units. I played minus 106 for 2.2 units. And then I played plus 110 this morning for 1.2 units to make it a 6-unit bet. And I'm pretty happy with it. Right now, that's the only bet I have. I'll read you guys my list of stuff that I'm looking at, and then we can hop out because that's it. So Other spots I'm looking at are Bahamondes, Torres over 1.5, Josh Van, Aldana, and Shevchenko. Those are the spots I'm looking at. And I'll run through the picks real quick one more time, and then we'll get out of here. So I'm picking Raul Rosas Jr., I'm picking Joshua Van, I'm picking Yazmin Jauregui, I'm picking Ignacio Bahamondes, I'm picking Irene Aldana, I'm picking Ronaldo Rodriguez, very low confidence. I'm picking Zellhuber, I'm picking Lopes, I guess. I'm picking Shevchenko, and I'm picking Merab. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Good luck this weekend. Good luck tomorrow with Dana White's Contender Series. And peace out and good luck.